What is going on, YouTube? We are back. We are here today with our NFL reactions over the weekend. Um, had a lot of good games, a lot of close games. Shout out Sunday Ticket, being able to watch all of them. Ended with a doubleheader on Monday. I mean, it's just all around a great weekend. So let's just jump right on into it. We're gonna go in order of the game. So we're gonna go 1 o'clock, then 4 o'clock, then the Sunday night, and then jump into the two on Monday. So one of the first games of the day, Rams Titans. Going into it, I liked what Tennessee had going for him. I think Cam Ward has been showing that he's going to be a guy for sure. But again, that Titans roster is bad. I mean, they got beat by the Rams 33-19. That Rams team just has more continuity going for them on both sides of the ball, whereas the Titans, I don't think they really have that great of a defense. That offense is a little suspect in some parts. I think the O line's solid, but no real running game, no real intense pass catchers. So, but Cam Ward has looked good. He's looked good. He kept it close for them for a bit, but ultimately between Stafford and Puka and their running game, they just ran away with it in the end. But coming away from that game, I think the Titans have found something at quarterback. Now they just got to put the pieces around them, whether it's addressing the offense first, then working on the defense, or giving them a defense and then slowly build up the offense. But ultimately, it was the Rams' game to lose. They came out, covered spread of 14. I just, not really a whole lot to take away from it outside the fact of Rams are playing some of their best ball. They're 2 0. And Titans, even though they're 0 2, have put up some decent fights to start the year. So we're going to see how that transcends as the season goes on. But if you're a Titans fan, I wouldn't hang your head too low. It looks like you got a guy at quarterback. I think you just got to get him a little help. So that's a good place to be at if you're them. Tough spot to be in for these next two teams. You got the Jaguars and Bengals. It was a close game. It was actually a really good game. It's 31-27 Bengals in a game in which Joe Burrow didn't finish the game. He got hurt about middle of the second quarter, early second quarter. Got hurt. We found out it's grade 3 toe turf, or turf toe, I mean. So he's basically almost done for the rest of the year. And a Jags team that you thought would have pounced on that opportunity, they've been kind of humming on offense between their ensemble of pass catchers outside of Brian Thomas and a decent running game. But Jake Browning comes in and just guts out a win at home. If you're a Jaguars fan, you should feel a little concerned. I didn't think Trevor Lawrence played that bad. ETN had a solid day, but I'm getting concerned about Brian Thomas. 2 weeks, only has one touchdown, and it wasn't even a receiving touchdown. It was on an end around last week, and now it's just it almost looks like he's not enjoying being out there playing football. I would be very I would be very concerned because this is probably the best version of Trevor Lawrence he's seen, and he just doesn't look like he wants to be out there playing. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if there's something behind the scenes that's occurring, or he doesn't like the fit with Lee and Cohen, who I think has actually been doing a pretty decent job offensively. Defense, they got to clean up some things, but offensively, I think they've been really solid. But the Bengals, you're putting your shoulders this year on a Jake Browning, or maybe midway through you're trading for a guy. But your offense is still clicking. Your defense is still a little suspect. So I don't know what you're really going to expect going forward after the Joe Burrow injury, but I think your first order business needs to be build up that offensive line. Build up that offensive line. It's malpractice what they've been doing to Joe Burrow. A guy that, when healthy and is able to stand upright, takes you places. Year two after he got hurt his rookie year, they go and get Jamar Chase, the most sacked quarterback in the league, still gets you to the Super Bowl. And you were within a minute left in the game of winning that Super Bowl. And then since then, all you've done is gone to the AFC Championship the year after when he was still healthy again. But since then, it's been injured, and then when healthy, he's putting up offensive player of the year numbers, and y'all are barely missing the playoffs. I understand last year was because of the defense, but that offensive line is still atrocious. And I would say you need to address that first because Joe Burrow is going to keep you in a lot of games and win you a lot of games. You can slowly build up that defense, but you got to figure out that offensive line. If not, Joe Burrow is going to be a what if, almost like Andrew Luck is now. So if I'm the Bengals front office, that's the first thing I'm figuring out is who can we get in here to actually protect Joe Burrow, especially in that division. You got Steelers defense that's normally pretty damn good. You got the Ravens that you got to play that are pretty good. The Browns, even though they're kind of they still got Myles Garrett. And the division's only going to get tougher. I mean, the Ravens protect Lamar Jackson pretty good. Pittsburgh, who's always had a kind of suspect offensive line, has been protecting Aaron Rodgers really well. And even the Browns, with how bad they've been, normally get somewhat decent offensive line play. So I don't know what the Bengals are doing. I don't know if they're too cheap. They don't know how to scout. I don't know what it is. But they got to get it together. You have a top 5 quarterback, but he can't stay on the field because he's constantly under duress and taking hits for no reason. If he had the Jaguars offensive line, he'd be better off. And that's not really saying a whole lot. Jags don't have a great offensive line, but they can keep Trevor Lawrence up a decent bit. So coming away from this, Jaguars, I don't know what you're going to do with Brian Thomas. Bengals and Jake Browning, you trust. Next one, this wasn't really that close of a game. It's Ravens-Browns. Ravens ran away with it 41-17. But outside of Lamar Jackson, it was a lot of your oddball guys scoring. Derrick Henry did not have a great game. But, I mean, you had old DeAndre Hopkins catch a touchdown. You had a couple of your third and fourth string receivers that caught some touchdowns. It was very one-sided though. Ravens defense were just absolutely demolishing Joe Flacco. Bad enough they put in Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel didn't even look great. So it was just an ugly performance by the Browns, obviously. But Ravens looked like the team they were last week offensively. So, but it looks like the defense has come back around. So if they keep it up, they're gonna be just fine, especially in this division that just lost Joe Burrow, and you get to play the Browns twice a year. The division's really gonna be between them and the Steelers, which we'll get to them on their game later on. And then another game that wasn't really close. Bills Jets. Bills won 30-10. Justin Fields also got hurt. Prior to that, he did not look good. He had 23 yards on the day because I think he got hurt late third. So that Jets offense was not moving the ball well. The Bills just ran the ball at will. Didn't really have to throw it a whole lot. They were still able to, still made some plays in the passing game, but it was a James Cook day. James Cook had a really good day. And the Bills defense came out to play, which was kind of surprising based off the performance they had last week and how the Jets offensively looked last week. But the Bills played more sound, more fundamental, and went out there and got a much needed win. 2-0 now on the year in a division that's looking like it's also going to be theirs just for the taking. With that being said, next game was Patriots Dolphins. Patriots win by 6. Drake May actually looked solid. Looked really good. 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Was really efficient in the passing game. Dolphins still kind of look like a tire fire. Tyreek Hill did get in the end zone, I believe. Tua looked all right. He was having trouble staying up. That offensive line looked bad, but that Dolphins defense is awful. Awful. Especially for a Patriots team that couldn't really run the ball that well. Didn't do a whole lot of great things offensively. It was more so the difference was really a kickoff return for a touchdown by Antonio Gibson. But at the end of the day, Patriots win the game. It's a big win. First win for Mike Vrabel over there, who's trying to build up a culture. And I kind of see them trending in the right direction. They got a young quarterback who can make a lot of throws. I still think he's developing. And you don't have a whole lot of great pass catchers out there. But you can build from this. That offensive line's look solid. The D line's been all right, but there's still growing pains. They still got to grow. So, but it's still a solid win to get on the books. Next, you got the 49ers played the Saints. 49ers won by 5. which at first you wouldn't be like, not that impressive, but it was Mac Jones. He actually went out there and looked pretty efficient. I mean, Spencer Rattler didn't play that bad. He didn't play great, but he put up a solid performance. I think he had 3 touchdowns on the day, and he kept him in it for a good bit, but ultimately 49ers defense won the game. Again, I trust the continuity of the 49ers over the Saints in this, even though the Saints aren't really much to write home about, in my opinion. So it was just kind of a It was a good win for the 49ers. They're 2-0 now. Mac Jones looks solid. Maybe he can keep them afloat till Brock Purdy gets back. I mean, he still got Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings. George Kittle's hurt, so if they can ride the ship with a couple of their main offensive pieces hurt, I think they'll be just fine when it gets to middle of season, late year situation. This next one was a very surprising, very good 1 o'clock game. Cowboys hosting the Giants. Final score of 40-37. It went to overtime and used all of overtime. At first, Giants came out and they were kind of smacking around the Cowboys. They went up, I think it was 13-0 real quick, and we were like, uh-oh, that D-line's getting a Dak. Russell Wilson kind of cooking. He's connecting with Malik Neighbors. Couldn't really do it a whole lot last week, and they were getting him the ball early and often. Then the Cowboys came rolling back. And then the Giants would throw a punch back. And then the Cowboys would throw another punch back. And then from there, it was just back and forth, back and forth. There were 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter. This game was close through and through. I thought when the Cowboys scored that touchdown with about 2 minutes left in the game, I'm like, this is probably over. Russell Wilson just loading up a deep bomb. Classic rainbow ball to Malik. And I'm like, This might be what writes it off. Nope. Malik makes a play. They're up 3. Then the Cowboys just get down the field, let Brandon Audrey do his thing, and just kick a field goal to go to OT. Cowboys get the ball first, couldn't really do a whole lot. So then Giants get the ball. They moved it a little bit, couldn't do a whole lot. Cowboys get the ball back, couldn't move it, punt it back. Giants slowly start moving down the field. We're like, uh-oh. They might get in field goal range, win this. 2 throws back to back, Malik Neighbors, big plays. We're like, uh-oh. And then Russ tried it for a third time, ended up being an interception. Cowboys moved the ball a little bit. And then Brandon Audrey, 64-yard field goal to win it with no time left in OT. It was just a great game. It was a great game fantasy-wise if you had any of these offensive players. I mean, I had Malik. Malik had almost 40. Javonte Williams had 30-something. Dak was going off. CeeDee was going off. It was Scattaboo got in there for a touchdown. I mean, it was just a great 1 o'clock window just to start off the day of great games. But I am surprised at how well of a fight that Giants offense put. Granted, I don't know if it's because the Giants offense is that good or if the Cowboys defense is just that bad without Micah. I will say Giants defense showed a little hope. That secondary is a little suspect, but that front 4, they threw out some packages that I would probably call my NASCAR package because they got rushing the passer. They got Thibodeaux, Burns, Abdul Carter, and then Dexter Lawrence. I don't know very many offensive lines that can probably block that efficiently, and the Cowboys definitely couldn't. They were giving Dak problems all day. Which was weird because I feel like they kind of shied away from it in the fourth quarter and then in overtime because I didn't see that package a whole lot. But early on in the game, any obvious passing down, that's what they were throwing out there. So I don't know if it was the fact that maybe Cowboys figured out how to beat it by throwing quick outs, just getting the ball out of Dak's hand quick, which makes that defensive line inefficient because they don't have time to get there because the ball's snap, go. So, but again, big win for the Cowboys. I still don't know if there's a lot for them to build off of, maybe offensively, but that defense is going to have to turn around quick if they want a chance to make it. And Giants, I wouldn't hang your head too low. Again, I don't know if this necessarily means you have a really good offense or if it was just you were able to get into a slug out and kind of compete. But really wasn't that bad of an outing between the two. It was great television to watch. It was better than this game that was going on at the same time. Bears Lions, Ben Johnson going back to Detroit, first time being a head coach for a division rival after being the OC in Detroit for a handful of years now. And the Lions just went out there and did what they used to do last year. Put 52 on their head. Felt like every other play when I was looking up, it was Amon-Ra catching a touchdown pass. They ran the ball at will. Jared Goff looked like the almost MVP he was last year. And the defense in the first half looked a little rough, but they cleaned it up in the second half and made Kelly Williams just look utterly lost. The only time Kelly Williams really didn't look lost in that game, first 10 to 15 plays, all the scripted stuff that was being drawn up all week to go out there, they were able to score on it, but after that, it's just I don't know. I would be worried if I'm a Bears fan because you still have weapons. So that's not the excuse, even though you're not using some of them. Loveland didn't really play much. Majority of the passes were going to Roma Dunze, which is weird, especially for a team that has a DJ Moore type guy. But I didn't see Moore do a whole lot. I don't know. I'm a Bears fan. I'm kind of worried, especially with the defense. With a defense that was actually pretty good last year, has just fallen off the face of the earth. And you brought back a majority of the team. So I don't know what the Bears are going to do. But the Lions look like the Lions we expect. And I think last week was just sheer fact of it was week 1 and they came across a really good Packers team. That you know these things happen. I would imagine that second matchup between Packers Lions is going to be a lot better of a game, a lot closer of a game. But who knows? That's going to be a good little ways from now. One of my two shocks of the weekend for sure. Seattle going into Pittsburgh and winning by 2 scores, 31-17. That Pittsburgh defense hasn't looked right yet this year. I don't know if it's just the old age starting to catch up or what, but it's weird to look at a Pittsburgh team and go, the offense isn't the problem. Aaron's actually played pretty solid. The weapons are playing pretty good. That offensive line's actually holding up pretty well. But when I'm going, what is this defense doing? Couldn't really stop the run. They let Sam Darnold get a couple good plays in, and it was like once they got a couple good plays in, it was just boom, 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 boom. They got hot, especially late in the game. Kenneth Walker was getting loose, getting some big plays. They let Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith kind of do what they want. I would I would be worried if I was a fan of the Steelers just because that defense looked rough, and they still haven't really played a great quarterback yet. I mean, you played Sam Darnold this week, you played Justin Fields last week. At some point, you got to play Lamar twice. It's just you got to play some of these other AFC quarterbacks too, whether it be Justin Herbert. Say what you want, Patrick Mahomes still is going to be able to get it done at times. It's going to be some tough sledding for them if they don't figure out the defense quick. Because I think the offense is there. I think the offense can compete against a lot of teams, but that defense is what's holding them back currently. Seattle, it's a good win, get you back on track after the tough loss last week. Maybe it gets the offense into a groove to go out there for a division that the Rams are leading in right now, but there's question marks about the Cardinals and the 49ers. You can come in there and be the second best team in the division, maybe sneak in a wild card. So I would keep your head up for sure. Next, we got the game I was most sad about. We had the Cardinals hosting the Carolina Panthers. At one point in this game, the score was 27-3, mid to late third quarter. At this point, I was ready to turn the game off. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what we're going to do. Bryce Young takes him down the field. They score a touchdown. I'm like, okay, nice little touchdown to Hunter Renfro. Defense forces a turnover. I'm like, okay, all right. Go down and score again with like just over 2 minutes left, or just under 2 minutes. Hunter Renfro again. I went, okay, it's 22-27. We gotta get onside, and then hope for something. Sure enough, they get the onside. I'm like, okay, we're in business. We got a chance. And the refs were trying to help. They called a couple penalties on the Cardinals. I'm like, okay, we're starting to move the ball. Couple bad plays later, it's 3rd and 15. We're just calling go balls at this point. I'm like, we got 2 plays to get 15 yards. Go ball, incompletion on 4th down or 3rd down. Okay. We already know what we're calling on 4th down because we got to get 15 yards in one play now. Call almost the same thing. At this point, defense knows they got to go deep. Cover the sticks, send the rushers. Bryce doesn't even get a chance to get a throw off, and that's game. The crazy part when I'm looking back at this game is Panthers started with the ball to start the game and gave the Cardinals a free fumble return touchdown to start the game. And that was, I don't want to say the difference, but Cardinals really only scored 1 offensive touchdown in this game. Or, no, 2. Scored 2 offensive touchdowns in this game. Take away the 1 defensive, Panthers are right there in it. So I don't know. Granted, we can all play what ifs about this, but Cardinals at times looked really good, and then they would get a little inconsistent with the play calls. You know, Kyler missed a couple throws, but he was more dangerous when he used his legs. The Panthers, defensively, I still got a lot of questions. They finally put the rookie in, Prince, I don't even know how you pronounce the last name. I'm going to call him Prince. Prince got in there, played in limited snaps. He got a sack on the day, which I was ecstatic for because, you know, you draft him, Nick Scranton in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. They're showing some flashes. Play them more. They're better than DJ Wonnum and Patrick Jones. Like, if you draft rookies and they don't hit, okay, they're not that expensive and they're still young. You can develop. These veterans have already, for the most part, reached their ceiling. They're not going to get much better. And then offensively, I think the issue offensively is just like early last year, when you're going behind so early, you can't run the ball as much. And I think that's what made the Panthers better last year, was in when it was still close contests, they were able to run the ball better, let Chuba get some work in, and that's going to open up your passing game. They couldn't really do that, so they had to start airing it out. And the problem is, there's a couple of receivers in Carolina I'm not really trusting right now. I trust T-Mac, Tyrone McMillan. Had a 100-yard game, 2nd career game in the league. He made some great plays. He had a 40-yard catch on like the 2nd or 3rd drive. Had a couple big plays. Looks like he's got good hands. I like it. Xavier Legette. You're on my list. Going to go play for the Guangdong Tigers at this point. You get 8 targets on the day. And you get negative yards. I think it was -2, -3 yards. What are we doing? You're a former 1st round pick with insane athleticism upside. You can't do anything? I don't think it's necessarily the scheme, because I remember last year you getting open several times throughout the year. You couldn't catch it. Couldn't get the ball. Now it's looking like you don't want to run block either. So if you can't catch the ball, you want to run block to help the offense. What good are you? It's bad when I don't even know the man's first name. His last name is Trumaine. Some 6'4" wide receiver, white guy, is out here making one-handed grabs. And I'm like, I don't even know who this is, but he's out here making plays. Jatavian Sanders is out here making plays. Tommy Tremble, the running backs out of the backfield are all making plays. The rookie, you've been in the league for a year and 2 games, and have yet to sniff 100 yards. Tenrell McMillan, in his second game in the professional NFL, has a 100-yard game. What are we doing? What are we doing? The offensive line's a little banged up. I do think Caden Mays will be able to hold the fort down just like he did last year. Going into this year, I was still surprised Corby got the nod over Mays. I thought Mays actually did a solid job playing center last year. I am upset that Robert Hunt is hurt. Robert Hunt was solid last year. We got to play Chandler Savala, former NC State guy. Maybe with a full year of reps and practice, maybe he can be serviceable. Who knows? He's going to have to be for this upcoming game. But Cardinals get the win, a much needed win. They're 2-0 now, so they're up there fighting for their division. I don't know what the Panthers are going to do. I hope the first thing they do is fire that defense coordinator, Evero. I hate seeing a 3-4. I feel like we're getting no pressure because we have 3 D tackles on the field, and we're only putting out 1 edge rusher that's actually rushing the passer. Go back to a 4-3. Give me 2 stud D tackles, which we have one in Derek Brown, and let 2 actual edge rushers put in some work. I think we have the guys that can make plays. I think the 2 rookies have enough athleticism and burst to make things happen. So let's just go to a 4-3 and run it how it is. Because we don't have the linebacker depth or talent to put 3 to 4 of them out there. Rosenbaum from the Rams last year can't make a tackle to save his life. I'm having questions about our rookie from last year, Kentucky boy, Wallace. They can't make tackles to save their lives. I don't know. The secondary is looking a little suspect outside of J.C. Horn. Mike Jackson made a couple plays, but he also gave up a couple pass interference calls. I think to help our secondary, we got to get pressure on the quarterback. But we're not going to do it putting out 3 D tackles and then only 1 edge rusher consistently. It's just not going to work. Just not going to work. That's all my thoughts on that game. One of another surprising game. Broncos going to Indianapolis. I'm thinking Danny Dimes and the boys are going to kind of fall off the wagon a little bit. Nope, they still came out firing on all cylinders. This was a great game. It was a 1-point difference, 29-28. For a while, the offense were going blow for blow with each other. Get to the fourth quarter, defenses are tightening up. It's getting close. Broncos got the lead late. Danny Dimes and the boys get their kicker in field goal range to kick a field goal. They go to kick it. The Broncos commit a penalty on a missed kick. Colts get to reline up closer, kick it, and they win it. I am actually surprised with how well Daniel Jones has played for this team. He's been very efficient, both passing and running the ball. He's getting the ball to his playmakers. He's almost acting like not a game changer. I wouldn't even necessarily call him a game. I would maybe call him a game manager just because he's playing point guard. He's making the plays when he needs to, but he's just getting the ball to his guys who can actually make plays. They're relying heavily on Jonathan Taylor. He's balling out. I kind of like what the Colts got going on. They might be a sleeper team to make the playoffs and maybe get a first-round upset. Who knows? I think they got a lot of good things going for them. The more you look at them play, the more talent you realize they have on both sides of the ball. And somewhat young talent. So I think there's a lot of upside for them. With the Broncos, I'm not worried. I think Bo Nix is kind of getting his way out of a slump from week 1. That defense is still going to come back around and be solid. They had a rough day today, or Sunday. But I think they're still going to bounce back and be ready by the time we hit mid-season mark and get back to where they once were and be able to coast. They definitely need to before they get into some serious divisional games between Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders. So I think they're going to ride through the ship in September and tighten it back up when we get to October and November play. And then our Fox game of the week was a Super Bowl rematch. We had the Eagles going to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. If you're a fan of defense, you were a fan of this game because there wasn't really a whole lot of offense going on. But Eagles come out on top just like they did in the Super Bowl by a field goal. The Chiefs were kind of shooting themselves in the foot in this game. Silly penalties, miscues. Kelsey had a ball thrown right at him that was dropped that turned into an interception. And that was kind of the difference maker because at that point it was, I think, a field goal difference. And Chiefs were able, or not Chiefs, the Eagles were able to turn that around, waste some clock, get the lead, and they were able to get that stop late on the Chiefs to end the game. And, I find it funny because right there when the Eagles were kneeing the ball down to finish the game, Chris Jones and Jalen Hurts were kind of going back and forth. And Chris Jones says to Jalen Hurts, he's like, you didn't barely had 100 yards on the game. And Jalen just told it as it is. He's like, yeah, but we won. And I think, ultimately, I think that's what matters. Jalen didn't have a great game. Saquon had a solid day. The weapons for the Eagles didn't have a great day. They made a couple plays. They made plays that were necessary. But the Eagles are just running like a well-oiled machine on both sides of the ball. I do think they got a little help from the tush push, especially the way they're not officiating it correctly. I mean, when you're able in real time to look down the line and be like, okay, the center's already passed the ball. Half the offensive line is already lined up in front of the ball before it's even snapped. What is a defense supposed to do? Especially when you got a quarterback that's that powerful running the ball, being pushed. It's an unfair play, especially for a defense, because what is a defense supposed to do? I mean, the only team that tried to have a solution were the Commanders in the NFC Championship last year when Frank Galuva was jumping over the line, and they literally told him, if you do it again, we're giving you a penalty. I mean, what else are they supposed to do to stop the play? I think the play is going to get banned. They're going to modify it, or they're going to start officiating it very heavily to make them run it like a traditional quarterback sneak. That way, there's no advantage or leverage with that offensive line. But in terms of week 2 of the 2025 NFL season, Eagles go out there and get the win. And then Sunday Night Football, rematch of the college football championship game two years ago when Michigan played Washington. Penix, McCarthy. Based off of how these two teams looked week 1, we were expecting fireworks. Not really. I think it was one touchdown scored the whole game. It was 22-6. A lot of field goals. JJ McCarthy didn't look good. He got hurt. Michael Penix didn't really do a whole lot, but he didn't have to. Bijan Algier did most of the work, and the wideouts and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts actually had a decent game. They just made plays when they needed to, and they executed. There wasn't really a whole lot to write home about. Both of these teams are 1-0. It's going to be interesting to see how the Vikings are going to ride out these next couple weeks with J.J. McCarthy out. Falcons, I think, are going to continue to ride the ship right before they have to play division rivals. So, for the Vikings, you might be slightly worried because McCarthy's hurt, but you still got a great defense. Still got a really good head coach calling the plays. I think you'll be all right. You might not look as good as you had week 1, but you'll be able to ride the ship. Falcons, just got to really figure out the defense. That offense is going to put up yards, put up points. So I wasn't really worried about it. And then we get to our double header on Monday Night Football. Buccaneers Texans was 7 o'clock kickoff. Chargers Raiders was 10 o'clock. We're going to talk Bucks Texans first. This was a really good game. At first, Texans got the ball to start out. CJ Stroud and the boys went right down the field, score a touchdown quick. We're like, okay. Didn't really do that last week. Okay. Baker and them get the ball, go right down the field, score again. We're like, potential shootout here. They were still able to put up points, but defenses tightened up at times. Bucks had the game well in hand, and then about 3 minutes left or so, Texans go score a late touchdown. We're like, but it's Baker. You gave this much time to Baker. We've seen what he's done in the fourth quarter the last 2 seasons in Tampa. Are you sure about this? They gambled with it. Did it work? Nope. Baker was making plays. Bucky Irvin was making plays. Mike Evans made a couple grabs. What really impressed me was Baker was hurt. He got hurt early on in the game. And yet, on a 4th and 10 with the game on the line, break out of a sack and you get a 12-yard scramble to pick up the first down. Move the chains. Immediately gets up. You're thinking, oh, he's going to be hurting. Nope. Just fine. Gets up. Calls play. And he's rolling. They march right down the field. Score with, I think it was 6 seconds left. They're up a point. They go for 2. Didn't get it. And the weird thing about the ending of this game, there's 6 seconds left. Texans get the kickoff, and they decide to return it. But by the time they get tackled and plays dead, time's out. So, not saying you realistically had a chance, but you didn't want to try and draw something up with your playmakers. I mean, you still got Nico Collins. You still got 2 serviceable running backs. Try and play a little backyard football. Didn't even give them a chance. I think it's a great win for the Bucs. Go on the road against a top 5 defense and to be able to just gut out a win, especially with how your defense looked. Your defense actually played really well. If you're the Texans, you're probably sick to your stomach that you're 0-2 after it seemed like week 1 couldn't really get the offense going. Then week 2 you were able to get something going on offense, but it just wasn't enough. So I still think the Texans are going to be fine with having to play within their division. I would still probably take them over the Jags, over the Titans. Them and the Colts are going to be probably some good games played against each other. If you're the Bucs, you're 2-0. You're surviving and advancing, and that's all you can do this time of the year. I think, again, they're the favorites to win the division, as they should be. They got the most continuity. Still worried about their secondary a little bit, but offensively, they're going to be just fine. And they're only going to get healthier because they're still missing Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan. Rachaad White and Bucky Irvin look like they're both being really effective running the ball. Your offensive line's still a little banged up, but they're only going to get healthier. Wirfs should be back within the next couple weeks. And Baker is still doing what he did best last year. Just slinging it all over the yard, making plays. And then the second game, we had Chargers in Vegas. And at first this game was close for a little bit. And then we get to the point of letting Justin Herbert just start cooking. Just straight up, you can tell there's a roster difference between the two. I mean, if you just were to go offense for offense, Justin Herbert versus Geno Smith, you're taking Justin. Najee Harris and Amarion Hampton over Genty, really just running backs. I'm taking Harris and Amarion at this point, even though I like Genty. Genty had a couple good runs. Offensive lines, I'm taking the Chargers. Weapons on the outside, I think the only weapon that I would say I'd give to the Raiders is probably Brock Bowers versus, I don't even know who really is the Chargers tight end off the top of my head. But then wideouts. You got Ladd McConkey, who's a fringe, probably ascending number 1 wide receiver. You got Quentin Johnson, who's actually being able to catch the ball and make plays. And then you just decide to bring back Keenan Allen, who, Justin spent his first couple years with. So they got great chemistry. When we go to the defense side of the ball, that Chargers defense is just playing fundamental. They're playing out of their mind. They're making plays. They're flying, playing fundamental. They put Geno in a blanket all night. I mean, it was a 20-9 game, but even though you're like only 20-9, Chargers looked in control for majority of the game. They're 2-0 and they're looking scary. Them and the Packers are looking like 2 high ascending teams now. Justin looks like he's finally got confidence instilled from a coach. They're able to run the ball with 2 serviceable backs. They got a really good offensive line. He's got defense that'll support him. He's got guys that can make plays on the outside and in the slot. I'm interested to see what the Chargers are going to do with this year, especially a year where you don't have to play against Joe Burrow. Chiefs don't look as dominant as they once were. Broncos are kind of wishy-washy right now. This division might be up for grabs for you, and you already have 2 division wins, both road games. So you get to play the Chiefs and the Raiders again at home. I'm just saying, it's a big deal, even though it's only September. Wait till December when we get down to it and we're like, damn, Chargers already got 4 division wins. They still have to play the Raiders and Chiefs, or they got 3 division wins. We're like, they're going to win one more of those. Be 4-2 in a division. Be good enough to win it. But that is all I got for this week on NFL. For recaps, I'll have a predictions video coming out within the next couple of days for both NFL and college football. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and feedback down below. Got a question? Throw it down there. I'll try to answer it in the next video or in the comments. But until then, deuces.